There's a pattern nobody talks about in education. It's usually the worst teachers that stay, but the great ones, they leave. And the reason is not what you would expect. Hello, my name is Keith, a teacher turned data analyst. And in this video, we are going to break down why great teachers quit and the psychology behind it. Let me start with a difficult observation. If you go to any school and ask, who are the best teachers? You'll probably get consistent answers. There's usually a clear consensus about who's the best teacher. Now, track those teachers over 10 years. The exceptional teachers, they're mostly gone. They might have left for other careers, other countries, or given up on the profession entirely. The teachers who are still there 10 plus years, well, many of them are competent, but a few of them are exceptional. This is because the system has elected for durability and not excellence. This is backward from what we are expecting. Intuitively, great or exceptional teachers are rewarded, promoted, cared of, but that's not what actually happens. Instead, the system burns through great teachers and kept the ones who stopped trying. Why? Well, it's not because great teachers are weak or uncommitted. It's because the things that makes you a great teacher are also the things that makes you burn out in a broken system. According to self-determination theory, there are 3 fundamental needs that motivates humans. One is autonomy or control over your own work. The second is competence or feeling capable and skilled. And the third one is relatedness or how you connect with others. Let's start with relatedness as it is the strongest motivators for us teachers. We teach because we care about the students. We want to make a difference. But here's the problem. That caring is both your superpower and your Achilles heel. Great teachers feel the sufferings of their students deeply. A student failing isn't just data for them. It's a personal failure. A kid who's struggling at home isn't just a personal file for them. There's someone they're losing sleep over. This emotional investment creates what psychologists call emphatic distress, or the state where you're overwhelmed by others' suffering without the ability to help. In a well-functioning system, this empathy would be supported. You'd have resources, time, and help to assist struggling students. But in a broken system, this empathy of yours becomes a liability. You care deeply about kids you can't help. You feel responsible for the failures that isn't your fault. The mediocre teachers doesn't feel this way. They've built psychological walls. They do their job, they clock out, and don't take it home. They experience less emphatic distress because they care less. Now let's talk about the fundamental needs that motivates human, and that is competence. Great teachers are usually competent. They're really good at their job. They understand pedagogy. They create engaging lessons, and they adapt to different learning styles. This competence, though, is a trap. See, because you're competent, you see all the ways the system is broken. You understand what good education looks like. And you see the gap between what is and what could be. A mediocre teacher might follow a scripted curriculum and think that they're fine. A great teacher sees the standardized tests and understands that they measure test-taking ability and not actual learning. So great teachers spend enormous amount of emotional energy just to break around these constraints. They create better lesson plans than the curriculum allows. They give students opportunities that the system doesn't provide, and they try to compensate for what's missing. And as a result, they burn out trying. Because no matter how hard they work, the system constrains them. They can't provide the resources students need. The third piece of self-determination theory is autonomy, or control over your own work. Teaching has become increasingly non-autonomous. We have scripted curriculums now, pacing guides that dictate what you teach on a daily basis, standardized tests that reduce complex learning to multiple choice, accountability system that tracks compliance and not learning. Great teachers need autonomy. They have ideas about how to teach. They understand their students' needs. They want to respond dynamically to what's happening in the classroom. But the system has removed this autonomy in the name of standardization and accountability. So what happens? Great teachers fight back. They teach beyond the curriculum. They create an authorized project. They push back against scripted curriculums. They treat pacing guide as a suggestion, not a command. And this takes enormous amount of energy. You're constantly negotiating about what you feel is right and what the system wants. Meanwhile, mediocre teachers accept the system as it is. Here's the curriculum, I'll teach it. Here's a test, I'll prep for it. And over time, great teachers either learn how to stop caring, in which case they become mediocre, or they leave. I saw this pattern in the 3 countries that I taught in. The teachers who've been there 20 plus years weren't actually the best teachers. They were the ones who learned how to survive. And the best teachers, they either moved schools, different country, or left the profession entirely. And I think this is a tragedy, not just in education, but for society. We're losing our best teachers to systems that cannot support them. Now you might be thinking, okay, this is interesting, but what does it have to do with me? I'm not a teacher. Because here's why. This pattern is not only present in education. Healthcare system has this dynamic as well. The best doctors are burnt out because they care too much about the patients in a system designed for efficiency, not care. The best social worker cares about the people but can't help everybody. Non-profit workers are motivated by mission, but the system exploits that mission by overworking and underpaying them. Basically, in any field that intrinsic motivation matters, or empathy is required, or systemic constraints exist, and resources are limited, we lose our best people to burnout. And sadly, the only way to fix this is either to change the system or to leave the system. Most great teachers and professionals choose number two, as number one requires us to change in the institutional level. So if you are in a field where great people are leaving and the mediocre ones are staying, understand what's actually happening. The system isn't broken because of the people. The system is broken by design, and it's selecting for the worst traits. For a long time, I felt like I failed as a teacher. I thought I quit because I wasn't strong enough. I wasn't motivated enough. But understanding the psychology helped me see the truth. I didn't fail. The system failed me. I was trying to connect to students while the system asked me to measure them. And I was burning out because these things are incompatible. This understanding was liberating for me. Not because it excused the system, it didn't, but because it freed me from my personal belief that I had failed. I realized I succeeded at becoming the teacher I wanted to be. But then I realized that success is unsustainable in that system. So I left. Not because I stopped caring about education, but because I'm becoming mediocre. And to any great teachers watching this, if you're burnt out, if you're thinking about leaving, understand that this isn't personal weakness. It's a rational response to a system that cannot support you. You haven't failed. The system has. And that's an important distinction. Now here's what I want you to take from this video. Great people don't quit because they're weak. They quit because they're in a system that can't support their greatness. And this isn't about you being not good enough, because you are. It's about a system that selects mediocrity by design. The question is, why would you expect great people to stay? If you find this valuable, hit the like button, subscribe, and share this to people that you think that needs to hear this. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.